Right then, here are 5 attention-grabbing truths for you. 1. The beer is still cold, but there's nobody left to drink it. 2. Your best mate did not move to Phuket for the beach. He fled because immigration finally broke his spirit. 3. The locals did not stop liking you. They just stopped needing you. 4. You are not living the dream anymore. You are just hiding from the paperwork. And number 5. By the end of this video, you may see that empty stool at the bar as a mirror, not a mystery. I am Stanley, and I have been retiring in the glorious rice paddies of Isaan for 14 years. And let me ask you something, a question that I will come back to later. Why do we stay when the silence gets louder than the laughter? Please sit down and I will pour you a virtual one. However, do not expect any sugarcoating. The great Expat Exit of 2026 is officially here, and I have got a front row seat to the funeral. Take a look at that, will you? That empty seat. It used to belong to Dave from Manchester. Dave sold insurance. Dave loved the soy dogs and hated spicy papaya salad. Dave went back to Bolton last Tuesday. He could not take the visa runs anymore. That is the visual reality now, is it not? The expat hangouts are not closing with a bang. They are just evaporating. You walk in at 4 o'clock and the only sound is the bartender scrolling TikTok and the hum of a dying refrigerator. You do not expect the psychological toll. You watch your closest friends pack their bags. You nod. You say, yeah mate, the bureaucracy is a nightmare. You help them lift their suitcase into the taxi. Then you drive home on your scooter and it hits you. You are the last one. The herd is thinning, driven away by mountain bureaucratic headaches and the relentless grind of rural isolation. Back in the day, we had a social circle. Now we have a contact list full of dead numbers. And the post-2025 visa landscape. That was the catalyst. That was the bomb. When they started demanding the same financial thresholds as a bloody European country, the mid-range earners looked at their bank accounts, looked at the mountain of digital tracking forms and said, I did not sign up for an audit. I signed up for the beach. And off they went. Let's talk about paperwork, because I know you are gritting your teeth already. Remember when the only paperwork was a tourist visa and a smile. That feels like a century ago. What we have now is high friction living. You used to forget to do your 90-day report, pay a small fine, buy the officer a coffee and move on. Now it's digital tracking, apps that crash. It is a constant feeling of a boot on your neck, reminding you that you are a guest, and guests can be evicted at any moment. This creates a state of temporary living. You cannot plant a garden when you are not sure you will be here for the harvest. You cannot invest in a friendship when you are one policy change away from deportation. The constant threat, the whispers about visa amnesties ending, about insurance requirements, about medical checks, it grinds you down. For the retirees on a fixed pension, the new financial thresholds were the final now. When the cheap paradise suddenly demands $1 million baht in the bank, that is not a retirement plan. That is a hostage negotiation. So They give up the ghost. They sell their condominiums for a loss, and they go to Cambodia or Vietnam or back to the council flat in Luton. And who can blame them? However, let's talk about the specific loneliness, the real killer, the real isolation of Isaan. You see, in Bangkok or Pattaya, you can always find a desperate soul to complain with. However, out here in the provinces, the silence is thick. When you first arrive, the simple life is charming. You wake up to roosters, you wave at the farmers, you think, authentic Thailand. That lasts about 18 months. Then the rooster becomes an alarm clock you cannot turn off. The waving becomes mechanical, and you realise that the simple life has become social starvation. The language barrier is not a cute quirk anymore. It is a wall. Besides, the local attitudes have shifted. It is subtle. When I first got here, the neighbours were curious. They wanted to practice English. They invited me to weddings. Now, it is transactional. I am not Stanley the nice Englishman. I am the Farang with the money. The smile is still there, but it is on a timer. And God forbid you do not pay for the entire temple fare. We call it the Isaan ghost town effect. There is no intellectual stimulation. You try to talk about geopolitics, your wife looks at you as if you had grown a second head. You try to discuss a book, the neighbour's dog farts and walks away. The remaining few, the cynics like me, we start to lose our edge. We forget how to have a normal conversation. We mutter to ourselves at 7-Eleven. The mental well-being declines faster than the baht exchange rate. This is the ugly bit they do not show on the tourism ads. I call it smile fatigue. You know the progression. Year 1, you love the smile. Year 5, you appreciate the smile. Year 10, you start to question the smile. Year 14, you realise the smile is often just a pause before a no. We transition from being welcome guests to being tolerated outsiders. The economy here is growing. They do not need our paltry pensions as they did in 2010. The young Thais have Instagram, they have Korean pop. The old Farang in the corner with the beer belly, he is not exotic anymore. He is just in the way. And so we developed the cynical retiree persona. The one who complains about the heat. The one who says same but different with a sneer. It is a defence mechanism. It is an armour, because admitting that your community has evaporated, that the vibrant social circle is gone, is too painful. We tell ourselves we do not need them. We tell ourselves we are resilient. However, the truth, the cost of living surge in 2026 stripped away the last buffer. You used to tolerate the social friction because a beer was £1 and a steak dinner was £5. Now you are paying London prices for the privilege of being ignored. The cheap paradise buffer is gone. Besides, all that is left is the friction. So who is left? Who endures the silence? Let me profile the survivors, because I am looking at one in the mirror every morning. The last ones standing have specific traits. First, they are stubborn to the point of stupidity. Second, they have a relationship, usually a wife or a long-term partner, which is generally functional, not just transactional. If you do not have that anchor, you are gone within 6 months. Third, they have abandoned the idea of an expat community. They have accepted that their social circle is now 2 people, themselves and the 7-Eleven cashier who knows their cigarette brand. Is this the badge of resilience? Or is it a symptom of having nowhere else to go? I honestly do not know anymore. Sometimes I think I have stayed too long because I am too cheap to buy a flight home. Other times I think I have simply forgotten how to live anywhere else. Radical self-reliance, that is the only way. You stop waiting for the gang to show up at the pub. You stop refreshing WhatsApp for a message from a mate who is now in a Portuguese retirement home. You learn to enjoy your own company. You learn to find peace in the cicadas instead of the conversation. Now, do you remember the question I asked earlier? Why do we stay when the silence gets louder than the laughter? Here is a brutal, honest answer. It took me 14 years to figure it out, all by myself. We stay because the silence is ours. The laughter belonged to the herd. The laughter was temporary. It was fueled by cheap beer and the illusion of paradise. However, the silence is real. It is the sound of a country which does not owe you anything. Once you stop either expecting Thailand to entertain you, once you stop demanding that the locals validate your existence, you leave, or you find a new kind of peace. Besides, look, I am not a monk, I'm a grumpy old bugger. The other day my wife said, "You have no friends left, Stanley." I looked at her. I looked at my dog, who is also old and grouchy, and I said, "That's not true. I have you, and there is the Chang beer delivery man. On top of them, there are the termites in the bathroom roof, and they are very chatty at 3 a.m. She did not laugh. Nevertheless, I did. So here is where you come in. Are you part of the resilient few, or are you just the next one to pack your bags? Are you drinking alone by choice or because everyone else has already fled? Smash that like button if you've done a 90-day report and wanted to cry. Leave a comment. What was the moment your social circle died? Was it a visa denial, a friend's stroke, or just the slow realization that you were the only one left at the table? Subscribe if you want to hear an old man rant next week about why your Thai wife is probably hiding the remote control on purpose. I am Stanley. I am in Isaan. The beer is flat, the sun is hot, and the silence, well, the silence is starting to feel like home. Cheers, or what's left of it. Besides, let us be honest, we have all watched it happen before many times. The revolving door of hopeful faces arriving with a bucket of Chang and a dream, only to be spat out 3 rainy seasons later, muttering about visa extensions and the price of bacon. The ones who stay, they are not the strongest or the richest. They are just the ones who learn to laugh at the absurdity instead of crying into their Leo. Pop round for a beer any time, assuming you can find a bloody house. The soy dog out front answers to Captain Grumbles. Cannot miss him. If you're not sure, this was just a story, and not based on my life or anyone else's life, but on my experiences and observations. Safe roads, Stanley, and out.